Welcome, Colorado State.
Hey there, CSU. Good evening, Fort Collins. Hey guys.
I'm your host, Jacky Wilson.
I'm Jacky Wilson, still Jacky Wilson, and this is Ram Rants. Ram Rants. Ram Rants. Ram Rants. And possibly the heart and soul of CTV.
Hopefully there's some good news that comes out of this that are a little poetic and a little outlandish.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
We're gonna try something totally new.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Check it out. Good evening, CSU and Fort Collins, and welcome to another episode of Ram Rants. I'm your host, Jacky Wilson, and tonight we have a full show prepared just for you. Well, first we're going to speak with Cramer McGinty from the Center for Public Deliberation here at CSU, and later we're going to talk to Tomas Pickering, our Peace Corps campus representative. But first, Cramer, you're here, so I'd like to just introduce you. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a senior communication studies student with a minor in business. I've been with the CPD, or Center for Public Deliberation, for 4 semesters now, and I really enjoyed every minute of it. So
very cool. And as a communication major, I mean, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, definitely. It's a communications-based organization, so it's within our department, and but that doesn't mean that other students can't join. We actually have expanded, and now we have journalism majors. We have a lot of political science majors because it's very involved in politics.
Makes sense.
And we also have like a natural resource management guy who's talks a lot about. He's involved with a lot of like environmental events and stuff like that.
Very cool. And it sounds like you've got not only a wide range of people, but you guys also have a wide range of things to talk about. I mean, you guys host every kind of forum.
Yeah, we do. We partner with the city a lot on just local issues that are going on, or even nationwide issues. There was an issue we talked about that it's been an ongoing project ever since I joined, talking about the reform of mental health and how we talk about it, and that's been really interesting because there was one event where we worked with students from UNC, and we talked to them about how they feel about it, and just the stigmas surrounding mental health. And we've also done events in Denver, and we got people involved in the field to talk about it. So we have a lot of types of events that we do. So
very cool. And I mean, there's so many types of events, but what is one of the coolest ones that you've gotten to partake in?
One of the coolest ones was probably the first one I ever did. It was a community issues forum, where we had like multiple issues that were scheduled to talk about for the night. And the main issue that we were talking about was, are we going to allow retail marijuana in Fort Collins?
Hot button topic.
Yeah, it was a pretty controversial topic. And so yeah, that was just fun because, we invited like dispensary owners to come, we invited parents to come, we just invited all types of people to come. And it was just it was very interesting to hear like all the different sides of the issue and concerns that people had.
Definitely. And what were some of those concerns that were voiced? I mean, I know it's kind of old news now, but.
Well, there's the concern of like the retail marijuana, or the medical marijuana dispensary owners would say stuff like, if retail marijuana is allowed, then are we going to be allowed to sell that retail marijuana, or do we have to go through a new process to become a retail marijuana store? And then, of course, the parents were concerned with, is my kid going to be able to get this easier now? Or
right.
Is it, is there a risk of the youth being able to access this? So
cool. So you really had, participants from all arenas, and kind of everyone gets to voice their own opinion.
Yeah. That's kind of the cool thing about the CPD is, we serve as like an impartial resource, meaning we don't really take a side on an issue, and we just encourage people to voice their opinions, and we kind of direct the conversation in a way that allows people to understand both sides of the issue and to maybe come out thinking like, wow, I never would have thought about that if I hadn't sat down and talked to somebody else that had that opinion.
Very cool. Well, I mean, of course, it's always great to get varying opinions and kind of hear that, and most people can be reasonable about that. But there are some people that get passionate. Have you had anyone like that come in? I mean, it's an open invitation, so I'm sure.
Yeah. We had, at that same forum, we had an individual who came in. It was at the Lincoln Center. He was just walking by the Lincoln Center that day, and he walked in the Lincoln Center and just walked in the doors and sat down at a table and said, oh, I'm just going to do this. This sounds fun. And he just talked the whole time about life stories that weren't even relevant to retail marijuana. And it was it's frustrating as facilitators when stuff like that happens, because you know, people are there to hear about the issue and not, you know, someone's life story.
Right, right.
So.
It's kind of the give and take of having an open forum, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But tell me a little bit more about your role as a facilitator. I mean, what is that like? That must be challenging.
Yeah, it is challenging at first. It's something that's definitely, you definitely have to practice to become better at and to become more comfortable with. Because, you know, we're students that are between the ages of 18 and, you know, maybe 28 at the highest, maybe. And we, you know, are facilitating conversations with people that are 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And so it can be a little intimidating to be around, you know, leading a conversation with people that are much older than you and, you know, think that they know everything that there is to know about the issue before they walk in. But yeah, it's really fun, and it's a really just good skill. It's, you know, it's helped me with my public speaking abilities, and it's helped me to just become more comfortable talking to anybody about certain, you know, hot button topics like retail marijuana.
Right, very cool. Well, speaking of hot button topics, what kind of things can we expect to have like upcoming forums? Like what's coming up next?
Well, this semester we're working on we're doing an event talking, it's specifically a Fort Collins event talking about homelessness.
Okay.
And you know, there's a growing number of homeless in Fort Collins, and it's become more of an issue. And you know, business owners are concerned with, like, you know, you know, there's just problems with like where homeless are supposed to reside and stuff like that. So we're doing an event about homelessness and how to improve how we care for them in Fort Collins. And then we're also doing a K-12 think tank. So it's talking about how to improve our local education system. And we're going to be we're partnering with, I think it's Rocky Mountain High School think tank, who they participate with the CPD a lot, and so we're going to be partnering with them to talk about education a little more.
Neat. Well, very cool. This sounds like there's a lot of things we can get behind with the CPD.
Yeah, yeah.
Very neat. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing a little bit about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in again, and remember that you can go visit the CPD website and get involved at any time. So you can kind of enhance your cultural expertise and know a little bit more about your community. We'll be right back with Tomas talking about the Peace Corps. We'll see you soon.
Oh, hey there, Rams. Today is a great day to play in the LSC. So let's take a look at our ballrooms, theater, and art galleries. The LSC ballrooms, which are the busiest venue in northern Colorado, have been recently renovated. The Laurie Student Center Theater can be transformed to feature films, concerts, lectures, entertainment, and banquets. And last but not least, the Kerfman Gallery provides a showcase for the creations of local and student artists.
Welcome back, Rams. We're now going to be speaking with Tomas Pickering from the Peace Corps here at CSU. Thanks so much for joining us, Tomas.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about yourself first.
Yeah, I'm a first-year graduate student here at CSU, studying
Go
in
Rams.
in the ecology program, and I'm studying community-based conservation and development work out of Kenya.
Very cool. So how did you decide, I want to get involved in the Peace Corps?
Yeah, so I graduated from the University of Georgia quite a while ago, and moved off to Costa Rica to do ecotourism work, and I was sitting out on the beach with a friend, and she was just telling me all about the opportunities within Peace Corps, and it really appealed to me. I really wanted to continue this kind of international travel and experiences and learning more about different cultures and the world. Really.
Very cool. And you're talking about these opportunities, and obviously the Peace Corps gives you the opportunity to travel, but what kind of other benefits does it offer?
Yeah, there's a lot of different benefits depending on how you decide to use it. So Peace Corps volunteers, they go out and they serve for a little over 2 years, and they can work in 6 different sectors. So you have education, you have health, you have environment, agriculture, youth and development, and business economic development. And you can go out to over 60 different countries. So it's a great opportunity to gain experience in a field that you're interested in, learn more about other areas that might be overlapping, as well as to just explore new cultures, gain new perspectives, and all the costs and all the expenses are paid for by the United States government. And it's a great stepping stone to get your foot in the door with a lot of federal agencies. You have 1 year of non-competitive eligibility when you return in terms of the application process, as well as a great way to help you get into graduate school. It definitely helped me gain some of that international experience to to get here at CSU.
Get your little leg up on everyone else there. Very cool, very cool. So, I mean, you said that you traveled to Kenya this past summer and also to Costa Rica. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of your cultural experience?
Yeah, well, in Peace Corps, I was serving in Malawi, so I was in Southeast Africa, and it was a wide range of cultural experiences. I was living in a rural community, officially in the environment sector and tied with the Department of Parks and Wildlife, right on the border of a wildlife reserve called Nkota. And I was, everybody in the community were farmers. Maybe some were teachers, but everybody still farmed and did that kind of work. And it was a very interesting cultural time period for me, very challenging in a lot of ways. Peace Corps is not for everybody.
Yeah, I bet.
But it was a great opportunity to see a different culture, kind of challenge my own cultural boundaries in a lot of ways and my own perspectives on the world, as well as maybe challenge some of their perspectives and, you know, introduce them a little bit to my own kind of American culture and different perspectives.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have trouble defining what American culture really means. What do you think they kind of saw American culture as?
It can be very challenging because it's easy for some of the people in these communities to kind of build up maybe some stereotypes based off of whatever Peace Corps volunteer they get assigned. But Peace Corps volunteers, they kind of come in little waves. So Peace Corps replaces volunteers, so maybe 3 volunteers in one community before switching over again. And yeah, they get it's not about any one American culture, it's just imparting your own unique American culture. You can bring whatever you want to the table and you can explore, you know, while you're learning about another culture itself.
Very cool. Yeah. And I mean, you were in a place where you didn't speak the language and talk about a cultural shock. Can you share with me a little bit about maybe what the biggest cultural shock was for you?
It's probably lots of different cultural shocks to go through. One that jumps to mind is witchcraft. It was very different for me to be, especially with the kind of lack of communications ability. Over time, I definitely gained a lot of skills with the local language, which was Chichewa, but at least early on, you know, it was tough sometimes having in-depth conversations. And, you know, a lot of people in my community, they believed in witchcraft and they believed that they got sick because other people were putting curses on them.
Wow.
And things. So it was very interesting and intriguing to learn about that, but then also, you know, very, very challenging asking questions and kind of getting that full depth of knowledge there on those kind of cultural beliefs.
But what a cool opportunity to be able to just kind of really immerse yourself in somebody else's culture and put yourself in their shoes, probably literally at some point, right? Yeah. Very cool. Well, can you tell me about the event that you guys have coming up on Friday? You guys are hosting an informational event. Yeah,
so we have an information meeting this coming Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. in Laurel Hall, which is the Office of International Programs. And we'll have 2 returned Peace Corps volunteers, one who served in Ghana and one who served in Mozambique, come and talk about their experiences. And it's just a great opportunity for anybody who's interested in applying to the Peace Corps to get to learn more information, get to talk about more of those kind of in-depth details about what were the living conditions like, how were you paid, where did you get your food, where did you get your water, all those kind of nitty-gritty details, as well as the challenges and the highs and lows of Peace Corps service.
Right, very cool. Well, I mean, we don't have time on this show to be able to talk about all of these nitty-gritties, but you can definitely come to that event. But just before we go, I want to hear about what was your highest point. Probably a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good points. I felt really accomplished with some of the work there. I think that's one thing that I remember and really enjoyed about my Peace Corps experience, because the work, I mostly got interested in did agricultural projects or public health projects. I did one project bringing in a Malawian instructor from the capital to teach about sustainable agricultural practices, soil and water conservation, things like that, for a week in my community. And it was a great opportunity. Got a lot of great feedback from the community, and it was really rewarding for me, so that made me happy.
Well, Tomas, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your experience. Yeah, we look forward to being able to hear a little bit more about it. And if you can attend that meeting, you very well should. It seems like a cool thing to go to. Yeah, so very cool. Well, Rams, we'll catch you next week with a very special Valentine's episode, but thank you so much for tuning into this one. We'll see you next week.